lust after your own spouse. It's just that would it now be a sin?
Yeah,
but
that's
then it wouldn't be a sin.
I don't think
lust
it would be a sin.
It wouldn't be a sin. It would just be a very strong sexual desire to
your
my
wife.
wife. When I see my wife, I just see my wife. I'm like,
yeah, but is it a sin
whilst you're in marriage?
while you're in marriage?
That's what I'm saying. You can't.
I don't think
you can still lust. It just wouldn't.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a sin.
No, but Candace, you
Please.
can't use the word lusting.
Hold on.
Okay.
So I understand what Candace is saying. I understand what Kevaughn is saying. But from what Kevaughn is saying, based on how, if you really think about it, what these things give you once you become that title, what Kevaughn is saying makes sense. And I understand it. And I think it makes sense too. Because if I'm just like a regular man out there, you're saying, if me there with a Christian girl and I can't have sex with her, why is she my girlfriend in the first place? Because with that title, I know I get this. Just like with marriage, if I'm already living with her, why am I gonna marry her?
No.
You get me? Because with the title comes these things.
Yeah.
So I completely understand what Kevaughn's saying. I completely get it. Like So so it's, I guess with Christian relationships, the reason why we don't conform to the world, because we just have to move differently. And our relationships will have to be centered around somebody. I think you have to be very careful with who you choose. Have to be centered around somebody who you see as that material, husband or wife material, not boyfriend or girlfriend. Because to be honest, if I'm going on a date with a girl, if I don't see her as wife material, I'm just not going to go on a date. Because that's where my mindset is.
Yeah.
True.
I'm not gonna waste my time trying to get to know you and you see me? Get to know you for what?
Yeah.
You know?
But don't you, as you said, isn't it a waste of time to just go on a date with somebody and get to know the person, and you have the person just not ready, like.
Just not ready yet. But I think you can
That's
find
why
that
you go
out.
on the date.
No, but you can find. I hear what you're saying. I don't want to stop you.
You don't even have to wait till date. You know, you can be
Exactly.
very upfront and straightforward.
Yeah, just talk to him, have conversation.
Yeah, so if you are that type of person that you are able to have that conversation in that space before you even get to having dates, like Brandon is that type of person. You can, as I said before, lay your cards on the table. Because if you know your intent of getting to know somebody is to see if this person is possibly wife material or husband material, I think it's important that you make, in this day and age, at this big age where people reach now, you have to make people know, say, you're not looking for something short term.
Yeah. You
have to
indicate
tell them,
that.
say, you're looking for, you're not joke, you want to be married and you're looking to settle down and build a life together. So if you're not about that, it don't make sense we begin talking or stuff like that.
It really doesn't add up.
If you're that upfront kind of person.
All right. So I want to ask you guys now, because we mentioned about being, I think Candace mentioned about the physical intimacy. We touched on that a little bit. What you guys believe in our relationship as Christians? Should we be physically
Intimate at all?
intimate at
That's
all?
it.
Yeah,
Oh.
before marriage.
Physical.
And this question is for Candace.
Question is for Candace.
Mighty.
Maybe we should have called Valin.
Today's his birthday.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fine. I don't remember my pastor's birthday
All right,
sometimes, so it's alright.
Should Christians be physically intimate?
Yeah.
I don't. All right.
Why is it so hard?
Stop. Because it's not an objective question. It really is subjective to some degree.
Why?
We are told that the part of physical intimacy you should not engage in is sex before marriage. That's what we are told.
Wipe down.
Right? But as Christians, you have to understand that there is lust that occurs between you and this person. Now, if the physically intimate acts, those being kissing, hugging, probably
Holding
touching,
hands.
holding hands and stuff like that, if those acts bring you to a point of lust, then I would not recommend that you engage in them. If you are able to manage yourself,
Self-control.
yes, very, very important. If you're able to manage yourself, then okay. But that is between you and the Lord. So physically intimate things, it all depends on what you can manage and how, or what stage of that battle with lust you are in. The only thing we've been told outrightly is that you should not have sex before marriage, and you don't want to lead your brethren astray or cause them to lust after you. So physical intimacy, there is one objective boundary you should never cross, but really to me, it's on a spectrum.
Yeah.
It's on a subjective
Something I would
spectrum.
Because there's nothing that was really that outlines.
Mike.
Yeah.
But
But
I want to
don't
hear about.
push it, though.
But I want to hear about you and Mandy. Like,
Scream.
do you think that physical intimacy is okay or it's not okay before marriage?
Is it okay or is it not okay?
Yeah, should you partake or not partake?
Okay, you have some people who their first kiss is at the
wedding,
wedding ceremony,
yeah.
you know. Them never hold
Honestly,
hand.
as I said before, I really what boundaries you can tolerate based on your self-control. If you know, say,
Fire
you're easy for falling at the trap,
Yeah.
Stay away. But if not, and you can take a little hug or a little kiss or an holding and you're alright,
Yeah.
go
Yeah,
for it.
Probably leave it there. You probably don't want to touch, because touch then leads to more
Yeah.
things.
I don't know. I feel like some things are like, I don't, that's so funny. You can't even put a name
No.
on it. You can't put a price on it. You can't put nothing on it because everybody is different. Because you can't just look in a somebody's eye
And that's
and
it.
them want jump bones with you. You know?
Yeah.
So it's just based on you and yourself. People always say the devil tempt you, or you know, for yield to temptation. You have to take accountability and responsibility for yourself and your actions. And now say, if Susan looking at your eye and you feel jumpy, tell Susan to wear glasses. You know?
All right. So can we all agree that physical intimacy
It's a
will
risk.
it's a risk, and it can lead to lust
Yeah.
Of course.
and
100%.
sex.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there anything else it can lead to? You guys think there's anything else it can lead
Nothing
to
else.
other than lust and sex?
Nothing else.
Soul
I
ties.
don't think it's anything
Any
else.
other sin that can
And
lead
me
to?
just like I say, you
Or
get
soul
tired.
ties. Yeah.
You get tired.
Yeah, it can
I-
lead into a state of confusion because some people are in the midst of things they should not be in because the physical intimacy was
Hey,
good.
remember when I said the episode with the greed? You see the line, you go on to the line, and you move the line.
All right,
Yeah.
so we get married, right? We're married now. We're not physically intimate. We're not. We were or we're not. It
You
doesn't
tried
matter.
your best to
But
not
we
get
are-
to that.
Wait, no.
Yeah.
We are married now, right?
Yeah.
We're married, and we start to be physically intimate. Don't you think that the risk of lust can still present itself in the marriage?
That's
Yeah,
something I've
yeah, lust
always
can present-
Do you think
wondered.
it's wrong to lust after your
Your own wife?
Your own wife?
Well,
No, honestly, all right. Here's the thing.
I've
I don't
always
see anywhere
wondered
in the
that
Bible that
question.
say it. I know the Bible say if you look at another man's wife,
you
Yeah.
commit adultery.
you commit adultery.
In your
But
heart, yeah.
after your own wife, I'm not
That,
sure.
I've heard
Calvary.
conversations about it.
You can't lust after your wife.
Need to phone a friend for this one.
I've heard conversations
Phone a
about
friend.
it genuinely. I've heard some person say
Yeah,
you
I've heard
can,
people.
and I've heard
I
person say you
think,
can't.
How
What do you
would
guys
you?
think?
How would you?
In my head, I don't
wanna
think you
hear
can.
though. How would you lust after your own?
She's
Because
Why?
technically,
I think then it probably becomes how to what degree does this sexual desire run your life? I think that's probably it. Because you can, of course, you're going to want your wife, you're going to want your husband. But if that is all that you're ever thinking about, it really can be an issue. Because suppose you and your wife are not on the same sex drive, not on the same clock at all. That can create friction if you're too into your wife or too ready all the time. She's going to be like, no, leave me alone. Please stop. I'm not ready right now. That can create some degree of issue. So I think can you lust after your own spouse? I think you can lust after your own spouse.
I don't think so, because if I'm married,
What is lust?
alright, lust is
Yeah.
a very strong sexual desire.
You can lust after your own spouse. It's just that would
Yeah,
it now
just
be a
is it-
sin?
Yeah,
But
that's
then
what
it
I'm
wouldn't be a sin.
I don't
'cause
think
lust
it
is a
would
sin.
be a sin.
It wouldn't be a sin. It would just be a very strong sexual desire to
To your
my
wife.
wife.
Is lust.
When I see my wife, I just see my wife. I'm like,
Yeah, but
you
is
see
it
me?
a sin
Whilst you're in marriage.
while you're in marriage?
I
No,
don't. That's
I
what
don't
I'm saying. You
I
can.
don't think-
You can still lust. It just wouldn't.
Yeah,
necessarily
it wouldn't be a sin.
no, but Candace, you
Bert,
can't
please.
use the word lust in.
Hold on, pause.
We-
Please take these questions to your pastors. We
Yeah.
are not trained theologians. We are not
Yeah.
beaters of the doctrine. We are not trained in that area. We're just having a conversation. Please take that
We'll
question
put
to
the
your
question
pastor.
back up on the screen so you guys can
Yeah,
send it to
please
your
take
pastor.
that
Yeah,
question to
guys,
your
in the
pastor.
comments below, leave a comment if you think that lusting after your wife
It's a sin.
is a
It's-
sin.
yeah.
A husband lusting after his wife is a sin.
But that's your wife though, like.
But then-
Like
It
she's
can, because you do have marital rape. It can be an issue. It
Facts.
can be an issue to be then engaging in sex when she doesn't want to. It can be an issue. All right, throw that into the mix. It
But
can be
then-
an issue.
I guess what you're saying, but I still don't think it is, man. I still think it is because that's my wife. Like, I'm married to, like, so at that point, fornication doesn't exist anymore in my head.
No, it doesn't.
You see me? That doesn't exist.
Yeah, because now you're having
No,
sex within the right
no, I just
context.
see my wife and I see mad.
Okay.
Mad. Let's get it. You see me?
Yeah.
Let's get jiggy with it. So I just don't think it is. But I'll ask my pastor and see what him say.
Yes, please.
I'll ask him because that's an interesting one.
Valin.
Yeah.
I'd love
Yeah.
to see what Valin's answer
Yeah.
for this is.
He might be doing there. So, it's an interesting question.
Any more questions, officer?
Yeah, I have a lot more questions, man. But
Wow.
Well, if you guys are watching
You've
into
made
this
it
part
this
2,
far. Thanks.
this is part 2 of. You didn't even do the intro. Yeah. Yeah, this is part 2 of this Great Space, or episode. We're talking about intimacy. You know, Kevaughn has brought some interesting questions to us, and we're just
Yeah.
answering best as we can. If there are any questions that you guys might have,
Drop it in the comments.
we'll try to timestamp them in the description as best as we can. But read, watch the video, continue to watch, and ask your pastors these questions as well, and seek the Lord's advice as well. And
Please do.
some of them are no-brainer, and some of them you have to ask your pastor,
Some
get
of
some other
them tie
insight.
up our head a while ago.
Yeah, all right. Mr. Holt. Yeah.
So I have a question for you guys about spiritual intimacy.
Ooh.
All right. So the question is, do you think too much spiritual intimacy is bad?
No,
Too much.
I think
As it really,
All right,
as
make
it
it finish, make it
relate-
finish,
yeah, let me
make it
finish.
finish,
As
make
it
it finish.
relates to your partner,
no. No.
too much spiritual
But
intimacy.
let me get my thoughts out before it gone.
Okay.
You know this meme where a lady was said you wanted a praying husband, and then you
they
hear him
get
praying
one.
in the night.
Yeah.
That's a lick out tongues and praying in the night. I've seen that
Yes,
meme
babe.
countless times before. You want a praying wife, and you hear in the night just a kill. And I think when you said that question, it's almost that resonated in my head where that's the same thing over like spiritual intimacy if it's too much. Because we would say that the partners that we want them to be Christian, right?
yeah.
God fearing, they read the Bible, they pray, they have a relationship with God, they
Yeah,
love God
strong
more
one.
than me. And sometimes when we say those things, we have to remember that if you have a praying wife, you know that at any time in the night, it's just a kill.
Yeah.
Just pray.
Like Calvin and
Yeah.
Sister Donna.
And Donna.
Yeah, I know my mother. Whenever she ready,
Yeah, man.
she just praying, right?
Go
So,
ahead.
and sometimes we're saying, that's why the meme. You wake up and you say you want a praying husband, and you hear him praying.
You sleep
Yeah.
in the night, and your mother over here with the olive oil.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's what you ask God for. So if you want a partner that's a Christian, like a godly person, a woman or a man of God, they're gonna come with certain gifts.
Yeah.
But I don't think prayer is a gift, but they'll come in certain things that will align them to the ministry of Christ. So if so spiritual intimacy, I think is to kind of both parties have to figure out what their
Continue.
Go on.
well, both parties have to figure out their purposes, their gifts and their talents are, and how they can use that to better the kingdom and better their relationship.
Yeah.
You get me? And work on how you guys can build a connection with each other without pushing back the relationship. Because you have stories of pastors who they're all about the church, but their family's in shambles. But you're supposed to be the head of the house. That's supposed to be a reflection of you to your church. You get me? So that'll be my answer still.
All right. So I know you mentioned marriage, but I want to spend more time on before marriage as a couple.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you guys are courting and before marriage, that period. Can too much spiritual intimacy between you guys be bad?
I would probably say not.
And why?
Okay.
Hold on.
Hmm?
Daniel, can take a picture of us while we're talking, please? We needed a picture.
Yeah,
We
behind
needed,
the scenes.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, behind the scenes.
I wasn't use the camera afterwards.
No, we need a camera in the shot that's
while,
behind the
while they're
scenes.
talking. Yeah.
Yeah, just give me a phone.
Yeah,
Okay.
give me a phone. Make him take it with your phone.
Just take the one shot. I guess.
I'll probably take a couple. Alright.
They didn't say if it's portrait or like.
I was saying that I was when Brandon was speaking, I was thinking about it that when you spend a lot of time with each other and you're going into the word, sometimes it's a possibility that for some people your significant other or the person you're in a relationship with can in a sense become
Intimidated?
not necessarily intimate, well, sort of, but can somewhat become an idol, like how some person's pastors are their idols. You're the person who you're in a relationship with, like how some persons, their pastors, can become an idol because they look up to them so much and they admire them so much because of how they're able to break down the word. Now they take their pastor's word as the word rather than seeking the word themselves. So if you're in a relationship with somebody and you're going through the word, you have to watch it in a sense where you don't make the person you're in a relationship with, your boyfriend or your girlfriend, become that kind of a spiritual idol to you, where now you just take what they say as gospel. Or you put them on that pedestal to the point where if something happens, grace might be hard or forgiveness might be hard because you put them so high up.
Yeah. But,
I agree
Mandy,
with that.
what do you define though as spiritual intimacy
Tough question. How will she answer it for us?
with God and with your partner?
With your partner?
Yeah.
Murder. All right, so I think it's basically everything what you do to be a Christian or remain in the faith, basically being done together. So your Bible study, your devotion, your everything that you would do yourself to remain strong in your faith, to uphold your values and your morals of being a good Christian. And not just that alone, having conversations like these.
Yeah.
Because everything falls under that great big window of our identity and trying to figure out who we are. And it's good that you can do that by yourself and also together, because if you are planning to head down the road of marriage eventually, it would be good to have an idea of where this person is at spiritually. And you could possibly be the person to help bring them up if they can acknowledge themselves that they're falling short.
Yeah.
You could be a good guide or a help to bring somebody up or bring that person up.
All right. I have a question. Which one do you think is more important? Spiritual intimacy or emotional intimacy or physical intimacy?
All right. So obviously I'm going to put physical intimacy down at the bottom.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm going to say emotional
Is at the top.
is at the top.
And then spiritual, and then
I'm going to say
physical.
emotional.
Emotional is at the top, then spiritual. What do you think, Brendan?
I would say. Where's the top? All right, hold on. 3, 2, 1. I would say spiritual first, then emotional, then physical.
Okay.
What do you think, Candace?
I was thinking emotional and spiritual could tie, and then physical
At the
comes
bottom.
after.
Yeah.
Yeah, because one begats the other. So spiritual intimacy could introduce emotional intimacy, and emotional intimacy can introduce spiritual intimacy.
That's what I was
Yeah,
thinking.
and then below that now becomes.
Yeah, but that's not what Kevaughn asked you still.
Listen,
He asked you
you
to
ask
rank
me
them.
my opinion on the good
No,
phone
he
answer them.
he asked you to rank them. He didn't ask you for.
I can have things tied. I'm allowed to have things tied.
Oh,
My things
rank.
are going to be tied.
Yes.
So it's listen.
All right, well, no,
My
no.
things are going to be tied. So it's gonna be
I'll have her-
emotional
I'll let her have
intimacy.
it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'll let her
It's gonna be
have it.
emotional intimacy and the spiritual intimacy at the top, and then physical intimacy.
So I was watching something and it was saying that as it relates to spiritual intimacy with your partner, there can be times when it can lead to you being spiritually hungry, because me and Mandy are our partners and we have devotions together. I know start to depend on Mandy
to have devotion.
to have devotions.
Mm.
So without Mandy being there,
You
there's
know,
no
none.
me and God.
Okay. All right. I see.
What do you think about that, Brandon?
What I think about that?
Yeah.
It's the same thing what Kenny said about the idol situation. Your whole basis of, even if you're a Christian before, you know, your relationship with them and you're craving those Bible studies. You know, you have those girls on Instagram, like they want having Bible studies
Study
together,
dates, yeah.
going to church together, sitting in the chair together. Yeah, when they get into those situations, like they want they want that if the person is not there, they feel they can't have their devotion. The Bible says, I think that's how it's supposed to go about it. The Bible says, work out your own salvation in fear and trembling.
Yeah.
So it's between you and God.
Yeah.
We will always have each other, you know. But when like Russia in this here at church, in a night, she alone needed it, and she have a ball out for Jesus. So you have to have a relationship with you and God. Has to be constantly. You're growing in that. You're chasing after God. So they should never come in and it feels like, oh, if they're there, then God will come here.
Then God takes a back seat.
Yeah,
That shouldn't be the
no.
case. But it could
No, it should
also
never be
lead
like that.
to a stronger spiritual desire, because suppose you guys you never had Bible study before you got into a relationship with this person, and they want to have Bible study. So that now leads you to increasingly take
your
more
faith.
of the word and
Yeah.
look deeper into the word. Because all of a sudden, Brandon and Sister Pat in a relationship, and Sister Pat has all these biblical questions, and you can't keep saying, oh, let's talk to the pastor, no, Sister Pat wants to know what you know about the word, Brandon. So now you have to read the word, and you have to know the word for yourself
Are you that?
to be able to tell Sister Pat, say, okay, this is what I found, and da. So, so I think it can drive or increase your desire for the Lord, because you have somebody holding you accountable to what you do know.
Oh, the accountability
Yeah.
partner. Like
But
that
as
I
you say,
can.
it shouldn't run the risk of now as you had said,
Depending on
sorry,
that person.
this person is now your catalyst for going to your only
'Cause,
catalyst.
yeah, you know, you have Christians out there who they would say, if this Christian artist knows this pastor, then it has to be him and God tight, him and God link. That should never be you.
Yeah.
You should never look at other people in the church and say, oh, him and the pastor always a talk. That means I'm supposed to good. No, Bridget, you should never look at other people and say they're
And assume.
assume that them and God close.
Yeah.
No, brother. You dig in the word for yourself.
Yeah.
You have to learn that for yourself. So, yeah.
Facts.
Yeah, it says study and show yourself.
Except I prove
Proved unto God.
a workman
Man.
needed not.
To blame his tools. So.
A workman needed not to be ashamed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's something like that.
Something about tools.
I remember this verse at camp.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
that was our verse. At
Work to
camp.
show
Remember
that.
this word
Study
that
to show
time.
themselves
Okay.
approved. A workman needed not.
Need not to be ashamed. Rightly
Ashamed,
dividing the word of truth.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
So I think this is.
This is it.
Yeah, with that said, we just want to say
You have 30 seconds.
Thanks for joining us.
we have more than 30 seconds, but
Thanks for joining us. Thanks
just
for
want to
watching.
say thank you for joining us and thank you for listening to us talking about intimacy,
Yeah.
spiritual intimacy, physical
Physical.
intimacy, and
Emotional intimacy.
Emotional damage. Emotional damage. Yeah.
So cringy.
So
Yeah,
and-
guys.
we hope it helps you
Yeah.
in your endeavors for friendships
And
for
relationships,
with other persons
And the Lord.
and the Lord and marriage, courtship, dating. We hope what we said about intimacy gives you a starting point or piques your interest into going deeper into the Word of God and finding the truth, because that's what it is.
Yep.
You know, the truth is in the Bible, and that's the only place you can find it.
Yeah.
sir. So, yo, thank you guys for watching
Yeah.
again. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe.
Yeah.
Follow all our socials in the description box below. Jesus Christ, the way, the truth, and the life. Get to know him today. And if you don't know him,
You're moving,
Moving
mad.
you're moving mad, bruv. Thank you guys all for watching this Grace Space. Bye, guys.